while ever you are reading the case study, please mark the stakeholders in different manner, and please mark the ethical dilemmas or the ethical issues in the different manner. In case study, you mark the stakeholders in a different color pen or with a different sign, and you mark the ethical dilemmas or the ethical issues in a different color. Okay, so what happens is you do not have to read the case study again if the question is asking about stakeholders or the ethical issues. Okay, is it fine? So yes, herein I have marked with a purple color is the stakeholders. So you, district magistrate, the district, child labor, okay. So these are the stakeholders, the government, the owners of the manufacturing units, these are the stakeholders. Okay, and then with the red color, what are the ethical perspectives? What are the ethical issues? Okay, that there is a combustible substances, there is a hazardous factory, there's child labor, there's abuse of law. And we had discussed yesterday, how do you introduce your case study? You introduce the case study with the essence. What is the essence of the whole of the case study? Okay, the essence of the case study is there has been abuse of the law was for the private gains. Why are the industrialists abusing the law? They are using it for private gains, which is leading to the denial of the basic human right, of the right of childhood to that children. And then you also see from the perspective of the family, that poor family, they are forced. They do not have an option, but they are forced because of poverty to make the children work in hazardous industries. So you open up the case study, see from the perspective of child, he's being denied the right of childhood. And then why are they abusing law? Just for private gain or for their greed? Value-based judgment, you should do value-based judgment. Okay. Then you talk about the poor families are being forced. As a district magistrate, you have a responsibility to implement the law, not only in letter, but also in spirit. Okay, so the law has to be implemented in letter as well as spirit. Is it fine? Even when we talk about the ethical issues that has to be faced by each of the stakeholders, try to go for value-based assessment. Okay, rather than simply talking that the right of livelihood, you talk about the value. What value or what, how can you put it emotionally? How can you put this point emotionally? You can think on those lines. So you can talk about the economic compulsions of the family. You can talk about absence of free will. There is no free will. Go for value-based assessment, that there is no free choice to the family. They have to employ the children. Then you talk about there's an ethical dilemma of survival, the survival of the family versus the child welfare. Okay. Then you talk about they're being victimized. The family is being victimized because it is not aware of the law. Okay, so try to do value judgment. Okay, then you talk from the children's case. What is the children's case? He is being denied of human rights. He is being denied of child rights. He is being victimized because of lack of awareness. He does not have knowledge. There's violation of constitution. There is violation of law. Okay, the child has a low bargaining power. So he has a low bargaining power. So he is being victimized. The right to life is being compromised because it is exploitative and hazardous nature of the work. Okay, open your case study, do value-based judgment. Okay, you are a judge there. Think yourself as a judge. Think emotionally. Okay, from the perspective of manufacturers, what is being there? It is greed rather than need. It is one of the sin. Okay. Greed-based life versus need-based life. You can talk about Gandhiji. Okay? There's abuse of power. There is moral corruption. Okay? Then it is against virtues like integrity, honesty, compassion. Okay? You can talk about. So you are using your syllabus. Human values से क्या compromise हुआ? Law को violate किया है. Emotional intelligence नहीं है. ठीक है? ये work culture कैसा है? Okay? Then you talk about some of the sins, some of the moral thinkers का philosophy. गांधी जी ने क्या बोला था? Buddhist ethics क्या बोलता है इस पे? Okay? You think from the other perspectives of the state, consumers, society, not only from the child, family and manufacturer's perspective, everybody would write. You also talk about society as one of the stakeholders. So what is the ethical issue from the perspective of society. Okay, a society which is making the children suffer, what kind of future society or future generation would it produce? Okay, they would be not that well literate, not well educated. So yes, this is it equal, is it just, is it fair to make children work for your own profit or your own gain? That will affect the society. Okay, you talk from the perspective of state. Okay, the abuse of law will lead to lawlessness in the longer run. Okay, so you talk about that. Then you talk about solutions as a district magistrate, what short-term solutions you have, what long-term solutions we have. As a short-term solution, you want to stop an abuse of law. A very important thing would be inspection, and there should be surprise inspection. Okay, regular and surprise, so that the culprits are caught red-handed. Okay, then you go for punishment for the wrongdoers. That is the duty of an officer. Okay, you spread the awareness of law. Society में क्या करना चाहिए, पुलिस के लिए क्या करना चाहिए, ठीक है, मैन्युफैक्चरर के लिए क्या करना चाहिए. What will happen? This will create a deterrent effect. Rule of law means that you have to follow the law. Okay, so you cannot be sensitive towards the culprits. That has to be there. That has to be in the short term. In the long term, what do? You create more employment opportunities, create awareness, community policing. Okay, community policing is you make the community only police, so they will report. You talks about the rehabilitation of the child. You talk about the educational right of the child. Okay, under RTE. So this is the long-term solution you have to go for. Okay, how do you conclude? Yes, you can talk about the policy reforms. The policy reform, the loophole in the law, that has to be in the short term only, right? Awareness of the law and the loophole in the law. The loophole in the law has to be filled, right? Yes, you can talk about the health dimension. The health dimension of the children, because it is not the children, rather children should not be employed. Even in the industry, whoever gets employed, it is a hazardous based industry. So the health care of the employers should be taken care of. Okay. Yes, you think many points in case studies, right? In the conclusion, see, what we talk about in ethics is transforming the society. We talk about the social re-engineering, so that for every person, see, even if a law is there, right? If a law is there, people, those who want to violate law, they will find loophole. So the solution would be to promote values in person so that they do not actually abuse the law, right? So what is the long-term and sustainable solution is value education, value-based, the work culture, social re-engineering, the role of school education and the family becomes very important for value-based promotion. Yes, you cannot actually say that there would be a foolproof law. You cannot make a foolproof law, but you can make people who are so good that they actually follow the law. Social counseling of the employer, we are thinking that employer is very naive. They themselves are deliberately violating the law. So for them, punishment should be there. You talk about social counseling, you can give them a chance, but you actually, if someone violates the law, the punishment has to be there. Okay, rather than social counseling.